For decades, night shift workers at Tan Tock Seng Hospital whispered about a nurse who never appeared on any staff records. They described the same figure: white uniform, old-fashioned nurse cap, silent footsteps echoing through empty corridors after 2 a.m. Some believed she was helping lost patients. Others said she was searching for someone who died there long ago. But the strangest part? The sightings always stopped before sunrise. Tan Tock Seng Hospital has stood through some of Singapore's most difficult years: epidemics, overflowing wards, isolation units, deaths that arrived faster than doctors could respond. During periods of crisis, exhausted nurses reportedly worked through entire nights without rest. Some former staff claimed certain wards developed a reputation after repeated patient deaths, especially the older underground sections, where many employees refused to walk alone after midnight. One of the earliest widely repeated stories came from a night security officer in the late 1980s. Around 2:15 a.m., he reportedly saw a nurse walking alone near an older restricted corridor. At first, nothing seemed unusual, but when he called out to her, she never responded. The guard followed her down the hallway and watched her turn into a ward that had supposedly been locked for renovation weeks earlier. When he opened the door, the room was empty. Years later, another incident spread among hospital staff. A junior nurse finishing her shift entered an elevator shortly before 3 a.m. She pressed the ground floor button. But the elevator stopped unexpectedly at an old level no longer listed in the building directory. When the doors opened, she reportedly saw a woman in an outdated nurse uniform standing alone in darkness. The witness later claimed the figure looked directly at her before the doors suddenly closed by themselves. In the early 2000s, rumors began circulating about unusual CCTV recordings. Hospital employees described footage where corridors appeared empty until reviewing the tapes frame by frame. Some claimed a nurse-shaped figure briefly appeared near isolation wards before vanishing seconds later. Others insisted equipment malfunctioned whenever sightings were reported nearby. Officially, none of these incidents were ever confirmed, but the stories continued spreading quietly among night staff. Several former patients described encounters that frightened hospital workers even more. Some terminally ill patients reportedly spoke about a quiet nurse visiting them late at night. They described her as calm, comforting, almost familiar. But staff later discovered no nurse had entered those rooms during those hours. According to certain accounts, patients who described the woman sometimes passed away within days. A few believed she wasn't haunting the hospital at all. They believed she was guiding people out of it. Among the most persistent rumors was the existence of an older underground ward rarely discussed publicly. Former workers claimed parts of the section were permanently closed after multiple unexplained incidents, strange call bell activations, empty bedsheets found disturbed overnight, footsteps heard in rooms without patients. One technician allegedly refused to return after seeing a nurse seated alone beside an empty bed. When he looked away briefly, she disappeared. A retired doctor later shared an experience he never reported officially. During an overnight shift, he saw a nurse standing alone near the intensive care corridor shortly before dawn. Assuming she was lost, he approached her and asked which department she belonged to. According to his account, she slowly turned toward him. Her face looked pale, exhausted, almost sorrowful. Then she quietly asked, "Is the ward still full?" Before he could answer, she walked away and vanished near the end of the corridor. Tan Tock Seng Hospital has never officially acknowledged the stories. No records confirm the sightings. No footage has ever been publicly released, but among certain former staff, the legend still survives quietly, especially during the hours before sunrise, when empty corridors sometimes echo with footsteps, even when nobody is there. Would you stay here after 2 a.m.?